Hi guys. I want to start off by talking about like that Taekwondo is or the martial art and how many people think it's a sport and that it's not. Especially ITF Taekwondo. Um, yes, it is. Like it's got 5% of the competition. Yeah, which is fair enough if you want to compete. But it's the martial arts side starting to get diluted loads. Like the technical content, people's understanding of the movements. It's quite frustrating, really, because our general choice spent so long time of you perfecting it as a martial art that now it's starting to get diluted loads and loads. And I think what we need to start changing the way now is it's going to get lost big time and preserving the general's legacy that and the day. Oh, it's happening with the camera. See me open face. But it is more like we need to start teaching people that the movements and about hip, hand, breath, foot, yeah, and how much power can be generated, the power behind it. Master Hutton, or the amazing guy, you have to agree, is an excellent explaining obviously about the hip motion and the power, and the body can produce so much power. It's scary. Um, so when you're teaching, and explain to people obviously the power can be generated and what the damage that each technique can do, it's quite scary. But then it's obviously there's loads of other things. So obviously I'm busy working with obviously Master Russell Dennis with self defence as well. This year we've done a couple of seminars with him, which has been amazing, really good. And it's just explaining to people that obviously there's so much that goes into a situation or fight before you've even done anything, and it's getting used to like reading body language, situation awareness. There's loads, and it has to come with practice. And you have to do it loads. But then I'm very passionate about step sparring. Yeah, a lot of people don't like step sparring because they think it's boring. But this is because they don't understand it and why we do it for. Um, Obviously you got your basic free step. Yeah, but a lot of people when they're doing it, they're stepping forward, doing three basic punches. And most of the time, it's on the shoulder line and not the centre. It has to be the centre. Plus, it has been measured right that if the defender doesn't block it properly, they're going to get hit and not just tapped or too frightened to touch or block. Like the blocks are, when people are performing blocks, they're just doing it nice and gentle and just going through the motions. They're not putting any effort behind it. And when you explain them that, obviously, if somebody's going to punch you in the street, they're not going to be nice and gentle. They're going to be aggressive and shouting and bawling and swearing. That if you just block just nice and soft, or somebody's attack, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and it's it's no good going with your best friend and just being all nicey and not touching each other properly, and it hurts. And this is what I'll not gets annoyed that people say, "Oh, it hurts." Yeah, but it's a martial art. At the end of the day, it is a martial art. I mean, you've got to toughen yourself up for if you ever need to use this in a real situation. So for me, or 3 step, 2 step, and 1 step need to be taught more, and you understand that you have to block properly. Um, Obviously, more so 1 step is the closest you're going to get to a street fight, where you would just want to block and counter if you have to. But obviously, it's understanding about obviously power as well. Yeah, but anybody can punch somebody. Yeah, you don't have to be a martial artist or anything or trained to punch somebody. But it's about control, because the amount of people I've seen, especially on working on the doors, and getting knocked, killed with one punch, or get seriously injured, because people forget that. When you knock somebody out, they become a dead weight, and the last thing that hit the floor is the head. And if you're hitting concrete, marble, hard surface, it's going to cause a lot of damage. It could cause brain damage, or it can kill you. spinal damage, deafness. Yeah, there's loads of things. So you can't just hit somebody as hard as you want, because that'll not work. You have to have control. So what I say is, like, let's understand the difference between stopping at the board, touching the board, breaking one board, then two boards, then three boards. You have to have that control behind you and not just hit and hope. And this all comes down to distance, having the right distance, having peripheral view. Because the worst thing you want to do is get tunnel vision in a fight, because you don't know if his friends are with him. So you have to open his eyes. And this is where free sparring comes into it. Free sparring, I mean, it's not, everything's got a purpose and a meaning. And good. What's good for free step is getting you the right correct distance for your attacks, your defense, opening up your eyes so you can look at the eyes and still see the whole of the body, and not having to look down at the feet. Yeah, you want to see everything, maybe so you can read that body language. Does his hand go from a palm when he's aggressive to fist? Does his facial expressions change? This tells you everything that you need to know by reading it. Yeah, you can tell by somebody's happy. Somebody that's going to come up to you happy isn't going to hit you. Yeah, because they're happy, they've got releasing endorphins. So they're not going to hit you. They're not going to want to fight because they're happy. But where you've got something that's aggressive, that's in front of you, that's all you want to hit you and hurt you. Distance is really important. Yeah, so you got to understand your personal space. Yeah, how far you need to be for your technique, and it's about the main things is going from a non-aggressive stance, which is palms up or down. But you got to be careful on when the palms are down, that when you talk with your hands, you don't want to be saying them calm down, because the worst thing to say to a young person is tell them to calm down, because you'll cause a confrontation there. Because what you want to try to do is de-escalate it. Because the main thing about self-defense is to walk away. If you can walk away from any situation, or talk yourself out of it, do it. It's the best way, because you don't want to be fighting. That's the last resort. The last resort, everything you want to be doing is fighting somebody or hitting them. So if you can talk to them nicely, and then obviously talk with your hands, be pleasant, don't be an arsehole, basically. You have to be nice. Treat people how they want to be treated. Sometimes it doesn't work, especially there's different traits. People have different traits, and you've got your main guy who's just a normal, average Joe, sober. Then you've got your person who's already got a lot of aggression in them, anger. But then when you start hiding things like drinking into the situation and drugs, it totally changes the scenario on what things work and what don't work, and people's abilities to have super strength. They're normal. So as much as self-defense works, as much as not self-defense, as much as somebody grabbing you and you taking them down, restraints work. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't work, but it's a scenario you don't really want to be in. Yeah, you don't want to be that close to somebody unless somebody physically grabs you. Then you can release them or take them down and restrain them till the police comes or whatever. You don't want to be that close. You want to be as far away as possible. So distance, keep that distance at all the time. Even if you have to pick up something or use something to keep that distance in between you and that attacker. Yeah, because you're safe. You're in your safe zone. And then, what you got to think about is, first is when they step forward in your space, you push them away. Either you push them away to create space, or you push and go back. But you don't want to be stepping back too much, because then them got control. You want to control the situation at all times. You don't want to be going back 3, 4, 5 times. The worst case now, you want to be going back once and soon. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Try and use your voice. Yeah, mate. Like, whoa. Yeah. Well, move out of the way. Yeah. Especially if a younger person using the correct words, because you want to draw attention so people look and come to help you. But you always have to give a warning first. You always have to push them away if it's against a person with empty hand with no weapon. But like I say, over the next, well, from now onwards, basically, I want to be trying to put as many videos out there as I can, going through the whole scenarios, explaining more depth into situation awareness, body language, facial expressions, fight or flight. There's tons to think about. Different exercises to do for adrenaline, control your breathing, so you don't lose your temper. You try and keep calm as possible. And then then we want to be, me and Master Dennis want to be starting getting them seminars out there and showing them more practical how it works and how to get out of certain situations if needs be. But the key is to keep it safe and keep it simple, or simple and safe. Yeah, because your brain hasn't got that much time to think about doing too much in a fight. Like, you do this, you do that. You need to keep it as simple as possible so the brain can cope under stress and think, right, keep calm, right, what do I do? And it's just having a handful of techniques that work under any scenario. Yeah, like, so any of the traits, drink, drugs, you need to know that works. So when you're practicing these things, coming back to step sparring, it has to be done with realism. Because if you don't, you're putting yourself in a bad predicament that the martial arts side, that it's not going to work. In order to feel what it's like, you have to be put under pressure. You have to feel what it's like. There's something in front of your face, yeah, shouting and bawling, then you're going to attack. But if you don't, a few mates are going to hit you, and you have to get used to that and think, whoa, you said this. So next time you want to move that hand or block it, so you don't get hit. But I want to be going over tons and tons of videos, like showing you in detail and talking about all these scenarios. So look forward to keeping up with the videos. Thank you very much, and that's for tonight. Bye.